Posse and Citizens United who produced this film. And somewhere out there, I'm not quite sure where he's sitting, is Kevin Knobloch. Where's Kevin at? Right here, Kevin is the director. Kevin is a very dear friend of ours. And Cliss and I have made 7 documentaries with him, and we just regard him very, very highly. So I think you'll find this to be a very powerful film, and a gift of life, I think, is going to have a big impact. I was just talking to Governor Huckabee back in the back and thanking him for doing this. These movies really matter, and they really matter for a very practical reason. We're engaged in a cultural struggle with a secular elite that believes that life is random and has no moral meaning. And the whole reasoning behind Roe versus Wade is a utilitarian, phony science reasoning that has collapsed under the weight of modern technology. And the fact is, as the country became more and more aware of the meaning of Roe versus Wade, it has turned more and more against abortion. And this has been a cultural fight. It's been normal, everyday people saying, no, this is wrong. And it goes to the heart of what it means to be an American. The fact is, the base of this country, the key to American exceptionalism, is the Declaration of Independence, which says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that we're all created equal, and that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now that's central to defining an American. Your rights, every person in this room, your rights come, including the folks up there, your rights come from God to each one of you personally. And they're unalienable. That means no judge, no bureaucrat, no politician can get between you and the rights God has given you. And that means that defining when you become a person is central to the whole question. After all, if the state can decide you're only a person when the state declares it, then why stop at Roe versus Wade? Why not go to euthanasia? Why not decide if you aren't appropriate at 14 or 12 or 10? And that's why at its heart, this is the central moral question of our lifetime. Now, should you decide that I should be your nominee and should I end up as president, there are 3 parallel tracks that immediately start moving us in the right direction. The first track is on the very first day, about 2 hours after the inaugural, to sign a series of executive orders. One of the very first executive orders will reinstate Ronald Reagan's Mexico City policy of no U.S. money going to pay for abortion anywhere in the world. A second executive order will reinstate President George W. Bush's conscience policy that says no doctor, no nurse, no pharmacist, no hospital can be forced to perform a procedure against their religious beliefs. At the very same time, legislation on that first day will go up to the Congress, asking it to defund Planned Parenthood and put all of the money into adoption services to give young women the choice of life rather than the choice of death. And finally, we will aggressively pursue a strategy that Professor Robbie George of Princeton has raised, which is that the 14th Amendment clearly allows the Congress to define personhood. And that should mean that we can pass a bill defining personhood as beginning at conception, and you don't need a constitutional amendment. It is written in the 14th Amendment. It would be an act of Congress, and you can put in the same legislation blocking the courts from reviewing it, which is a procedure the Jeffersonians used in 1802, and clearly is part of the Constitution. And that could, once and for all, fundamentally recenter this debate where it ought to be. Because the minute you start saying to people, all right, when do you think life begins? What do you think happens if a pregnant woman is attacked and the baby dies? Is it a baby or is it an accident of the state? And that, frankly, to me, was the final defining moment. I believe that woman's carrying a baby. I don't believe that woman's carrying an instrument to be defined by the state. And I believe we have an obligation to protect that baby. And this film is going to be a major step in the right direction of educating and reaching people in their heart, which enables them to then open up their head. And I think it's going to be very profound and very effective, and I'm honored to be here tonight. And Kevin, once again, I'm just so thrilled with your work, and I'm delighted to be here with you. Thank you all very, very much.